أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Salamun alaikum to all of you, my dear brothers and sisters. I would like to welcome you, my dear brothers and sisters, for taking part in this series of the programs. As you know, we are talking about the Islamic lifestyle, and we are here to share with you, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear viewers, some aspect of the Islamic lifestyle. Of course, we do not want to say that we want to, completely and very comprehensively to have the Islamic lifestyle, because it takes a lot of time and requires a lot of research and programs. But gradually, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, step by step, we are going to introduce you, my dear brothers and sisters, some aspect and some dimension of Islamic lifestyle. You know the meaning of lifestyle. I'm sure all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, you are familiar with this concept and with this term. Lifestyle actually means how to live, some standards of living, some cultures, customs that people have. This is about the societal aspect of that, and even it goes to the individual part of the life of the human being, how to behave with other human being, how to think about your thoughts, your perspective toward this universe, even your individual habits, your interest, and so on and so forth. All that include lifestyle. And we are here to share with you, my dear brothers and sisters, some aspect of the Islamic lifestyle, and inshallah, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are going to have this beautiful and amazing Islamic lifestyle. Yes, Islam has its own particular and glorious lifestyle. It is very beautiful, and inshallah, if you bear with me, you will understand and you will realize these points, and all of us, we come to this conclusion, inshallah. You know that different lifestyle we have: Western lifestyle, Islamic lifestyle, and you can say Eastern lifestyle. Many different religious communities, different religious people, and in different countries they have their own lifestyle. But Islamic lifestyle actually stems from the Islam itself. If you go to the verses of Noble Quran and the tradition of Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him and his pure Ahlul Bayt, we have very beautiful narrations, and of course prior to that, many beautiful verses of Noble Quran talking about Islamic lifestyle. One part of the aspect of lifestyle is actually to the habits of the human being. All of us, we have different habits of eating, clothing, and so on and so forth. These are some part of the cultures of different countries. For example, if you go to the some other countries, whether Eastern or Western countries, you find they have their own culture. And of course, it is, I think, very amazing that in Islam, in this dear religion, divine religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have many narrations talking about the way how to clothe, how to walk, how to sit, how to eat, and how to speak, and so on and so forth. These are some aspects of the individual lifestyle, and I think these are very beautiful, and inshallah we are try our best to live by these standards of living, inshallah. You know that as I mentioned, we have the habit of sleeping. Let's talk in the beginning of our program to you, my dear brothers and sisters, about how much we should sleep. Some people, they sleep a little bit, some of them they sleep too much, and we have different habits with regard to the habits of the sleeping. You know that, my dear brothers and sisters, we have very beautiful narration with regard to the sleeping, the time of the sleeping, when we should sleep, when it is recommended to sleep, and when it is recommended to wake up. Let me share one beautiful narration here from Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. He said that, يا ابن جندب أقل النوم بالليل والكلام بالنهار. Imam said, talking to his companion by the name of Ibn Jundab, he told him, you should sleep a little bit, أقل النوم بالليل, in the nights. And in the day, you should talk a little bit. You know, the way Imam alayhi salatu wasalam start his beautiful narration talking about Islamic lifestyle, he starts with sleeping and talking. He said, you should sleep a little bit in nights and speak a little bit in days. You should not be talkative person. You should not talk too much. You should not sleep too much. You should sleep as it is necessary and talk as it is necessary for your physical health and well-being. And then he said, فَمَا فِي الْجَسَدِ شَيْءٌ أَقَلُّ شُكْرًا مِنَ الْعَيْنِ وَاللِّسَانِ. He said that the eyes of the human being and the tongue of human being, they are not gratitude to the human being. It means that sometimes if they go out of their borders, if they eat too much, or for example sleep too much or talk too much, they cause trouble for the human being, both in this world and in the hereafter. They do not thank the value of the human being. And then he said that he quoted the mother of Prophet Sulaiman, and he said that فَإِنَّ أُمَّ سُلَيْمَانَ قَالَتْ لِسُلَيْمَانَ. Imam alayhi salam quoted some part of the advice of the mother of Prophet Sulaiman to his son. She said that يَا بُنَيَّ إِيَّاكَ وَالنَّوْمَ فَإِنَّهُ يُفْقِرُكَ يَوْمَ يَحْتَاجُ النَّاسُ إِلَىٰ أَعْمَالِهِمْ. He said, actually she said, the mother of Sulaiman to his son, of course Imam started quoting this narration and this beautiful advice, told her son that you should not sleep too much because it makes you poor and destitute in the time, and actually bare hand, in the time that people, they need their action. Actually referring to the day of judgment. In the day of judgment, people, they need a lot of action, a lot of rewards of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But because you have been slept too much, you actually, consequently, you did not practice too much, you did not worship, you did not, acted, and you haven't been active part of the society. Actually, you were not a worshipper person. In that time, you will be barehanded in the day of judgment. And then Imam continues talking. He said, يَبْنَ جُنْدَبْ إِنَّ لِلشَّيْطَانِ مَصَائِدْ يَصْطَادُ بِهَا فَتَخَامُ شَبَائِكَهُ وَمَصَائِدَهُ. Imam said that there are some traps for the Satan. Some of the traps which make people in that, which will trap the people, these are for the Satan. قُلْتُ يَا ابْنَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَمَا هِيَ. The Ibn Jundab, the companion of Imam al-Sadiq, asked him about the trap of Satan. Which kind of trick which play for the human being in order to, misguide this human being and to deceive them. He said, أَمَّا مَصَائِدَهُ فَصَدٌ أَنْ بِرِّ الْإِخْوَانِ. Imam said that some of the trick of Satan is to prevent human being from doing good, from behaving good toward their brothers and sisters in faith. It actually Satan prevents human being, prevent the faithful people to, give charity to other brothers and sisters in faith, to act in a very good behavior toward them. فَصَدٌ أَنْ بِرِّ الْإِخْوَانِ. It is very important, my dear brothers and sisters, and actually I can say it's some of the pivots of Islamic lifestyle. To act in a very good manner, to our brothers and sisters, to help them, to assist them. This is a meaning of birr, okay? And it is very important to be very gentle toward our brothers and sisters in faith. Satan wanted to trick us and prevent us from acting good towards our brothers and sisters. وَأَمَّا شَبَاكُهُ فَنَوْمٌ أَنْ غَضَاءِ الصَّلَوَاتِ الَّتِي فَرَضَهَا اللَّهُ. But one of the other traps of Satan is to prevent them from waking up in the time of the prayers. For example, especially in the morning prayers, noon prayers, night prayers, the obligatory prayer that we have, salawat that we have, Satan wanted to prevent us from waking up. Different excuses comes here. For example, I'm very tired, I'm very exhausted, and so on and so forth. I just want to sleep. These are some excuses for the Satan in order to prevent us from waking up and doing our prayers. Imam as-Sadiq actually said, this is not acceptable. This is some part of the traps of the Satan. أما إنه ما يعبد الله بمثل نقل الأقدام إلى بر الإخوان وزيارتهم. Imam said, if you want to worship your Lord, actually one part of your worshiping is go toward your brothers and sisters in faith and try to assist them, to help them, and to visit them. This is actually some aspects of the prayer, some aspect of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Worship does not mean only going to the mosque and pray toward your Lord. And actually some part of that is to pay visit to your brothers and sisters in faith, okay? And to go and assist them, to help them. Try to do whatever it is possible for you for their sake. Okay, this is actually one part of the prayers, one part of the actually worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّهُ مَا يُعْبَدُ اللَّهُ بِمِثْلِ نَقْلِ الْأَقْدَامِ. Imam said that this is a best kind of worshipping Allah is to step toward your brothers, okay, to walk toward them and to assist them, to help them, to have very gentle behavior toward them. This is a worshipping of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Pay visit. At least pay visit to your brother, especially when they are sick, when they are needy people, and even for the ordinary brothers and sisters, go and pay visit them. وَيْلٌ لِلسَّاهِينَ عَنِ الصَّلَوَاتِ النَّائِمِينَ فِي الْخَلَوَاتِ. Imam say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wrathful toward those people who sleep and they do not pray in a proper time. Woe be upon them. Okay? And fil khalawat as-sahin and as-salawat an-na'imin fil khalawat, they just want to sleep. They just want to have leisure time. Okay? They do not want to pray on time. This is not acceptable. Al-mustahzi'ina billah wa ayatihi. And they ridicule, they make fun of the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Actually, this is very natural for those people who do not pray, who want to just sleep and feel lazy. These people, they make fun of the verses of the noble Quran. So Imam said that it is not acceptable to sleep too much. It is not acceptable to do not, pray on time and so on and so forth. أولئك لا خلاق لهم في الآخرة ولا يكلمهم الله ولا ينظر إليهم يوم القيامة ولا يزكيهم ولهم عذاب أليم. Imam said, for those people who do not pray on time, for those people who are just sleeping, just want to be lazy, they are sleeping too much. And they make fun of the verses of Noble Quran and of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For those people, they have no reward in the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not talk to them and do not look at them mercifully and will not make them purified. And there is a very bitter chastisement in the day of judgment. Quoting the verse of Noble Quran, actually the last part was verses of Noble Quran. My dear brothers and sisters, it is some part of the Islamic lifestyle. You saw that how Imam started from, sleeping a little bit, talking a little bit, how to be gentle toward your brothers and sisters in faith and so on and so forth. These are actually combining and explaining the Islamic lifestyle. If you go to the verses of Noble Quran, you find same story has been quoted again, because Ahlul Bayt, they have the knowledge from Holy Prophet and from the verses of Noble Quran. For example, in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قُمِ اللَّيْلَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. You should stand up in the midst of nights, except for few hours that your body needs and requires sleep. Of course, when it is necessary, you should sleep, and go when you feel necessary, you should go and sleep. But beside that, behind that, you should stand up in the midst of night and pray. Actually, the main emphasis of the narrations of Ahlul Bayt and verses of Noble Quran is doing your obligatory prayers. It is granted. But behind that, in the midst of the night, it is very recommended to stand up, even if for one rak'ah of Salatul Bayt, or for example 2 rak'ah, at least you should pray, and actually for those people who have they have this time and they want to pray, actually they can have the night prayer completely. But I'm talking for those people who maybe they do not feel they can have the full night prayer. At least they can have 1 or 2 rak'ah. It is very recommended to stand up in the midst of night and take ablution, take wudu, and talk to your Lord, pray 1 or 2 rak'ah, and try to join to the people who pray night prayer. Because Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam and his real followers, they actually for sure they're praying night prayer. And for those people who want to join the followers of Imam al-Mahdi, it is good to join them even by 1 or 2 rak'ah of the prayer. In other words, he said, كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يحجؤون وبالأسحار هم يستغفرون. Those people who are faithful, who are real, staunch, faithful and followers of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, he said that those people, this verse referring to the faithful, قَلِيلًا مِنَ اللَّيْلِ مَا يَحْجَوْنَ. Those people, they in a very little time, they sleep. Actually, whatever is necessary, whatever this physical body requires, they go and sleep. وَبِالْأَسْحَارِ هُمْ يَسْتَغْفِرُونَ. But for the most part of the nights, especially in the time of Sahar, they ask forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mentioned actually in this beautiful verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the concept of Sahar. Actually, my dear brothers and sisters, the meaning of Sahar. It actually, some others, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours before the, call for prayer for the morning prayers. You know that, my dear brothers and sisters, we have the time, exact time for the Salatul Subh, for the morning, or Salatul Fajr, morning prayers. But for example, I can say 1 hour less or more is before that, prior to the time of the Salatul Fajr, is the time, beautiful, amazing time of Sahar. Actually, I'm sure all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, you are familiar with this concept, especially for those in the holy month of Ramadan. We are approaching to the month of Ramadan. All Muslims, they stand up in the Sahar time, and they have the Sahari, of course, in different pronunciation, or Sahur, they have it. It is very recommended to have it 1 hour less, more, before and prior to the morning prayer, or you can say Salatul Fajr, Namazul Subh. You can have the time of Sahar, especially for the, for people who want to fast in that time. It is very recommended to have Sahur. To eat something and to strengthen the body in order to be able to fast in the daylight. So, I just want to talk about Sahar. My dear brothers and sisters, even in other months, for example, in this month, other months, before or after the months of Ramadan, it is very recommended to enjoy having, to be wake up in the sahar. Believe it or not, it is very amazing. It has amazing effect on your spirituality and on your physical well-being. And if you be awake in that time of sahar, okay? You should experience this feeling and be, awake in the time of sahar. Stand up and ask forgiveness. Ask forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At least you take wudu and you say astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu ilayh, and for 1 or 2 rak'ah pray, and then you can go to your bed and have your sleep. Please experience this kind of Islamic lifestyle. And another recommendation is to be awake after the, Salatul Subh. When you pray, you have your prayer, and then it is recommended to, we call it Bainut Tulu'ain, okay? Which means 1 tulu is for the morning prayer, and for example, 1 hour and a half is approximately the time of the morning prayer. It is very recommended to Ma Bainat Tulu'ain to be awake, okay? I hope I would be clear here for my dear brothers and sisters. These are very beautiful Islamic lifestyle. Islam recommends us to, actually these are not obligatory, but very beautiful recommendation for those people who want to experience at least once or twice in the year. I think it is not too much. Maybe you say, I'm very busy, I should go to university, I have a lot of work to do, I have no time, I cannot stand up in the Bainat Tulu'ain or in the Sahar, I am very busy. I know you are busy, you have a lot of work, but I'm talking for those people who want to experience this kind of, well-being and this kind of Islamic lifestyle. These are some advices for the people, for those people who want to enjoy their life and to have very beautiful lifestyle. It is very recommended to be awake in Bainut Tulu'ain, and actually it is makruh and disliked to be asleep in that time. We have a lot of narrations in that time, in this regard, and to in that specific time Bainut Tulu'ain to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to ask for forgiveness, to recite the verses of Noble Quran, because usually that time is a quiet time. People usually they are sleeping. It is not time for work. Everything is quiet. It is time for really, recitation of the Noble Quran, talking to your Lord, asking forgiveness, and so on and so forth. So, if you want to have this awake, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear viewers, you should have very proper sleeping before that. Okay? Your sleep should be on time. You should plan your sleeping. It is not possible to have awakeness in the Sahar or in the Bainat Tulu'ain and you sleep very, very late. Actually, it is impossible to be awake. If you want to be awake in the time of the dawn, Sahar, and in the time of the Bainat Tulu'ain, you should be sleeping very, very before that. And actually, it is recommended to sleep in the beginning of nights, in the beginning of your night. When you have your meal, when you finish your Isha prayer, you have your meal, it is very recommended to very soon to go to the sleep and have your sleeping. And actually, my dear brothers and sisters, I'm talking to you Muslim, whether you are Shiite or Sunni brothers, it doesn't matter. We have the, history of the Holy Prophet and companions of the Holy Prophet. They were sleeping it has been mentioned in the history, they have been sleeping in the beginning of the night. When they finished having Salatul Isha, they had a little bit of the meal, food, something very light, and after that they go to sleep very immediately after the prayer of Isha. And after that they have the night prayer, awake in the Sahar and in the Bainat Tulu'ain. I hope to be clear here and to explain very well the beautiful custom and beautiful tradition of the Holy Prophet, Sunnah of the Holy Prophet, which was sleeping a little bit in the beginning of the night and then be awake in the, some part of the, most part of actually of the night, and be awake in the time of Sahar and so on, and Bain al-Tulu'ain and so on and so forth. I do not want to say it is obligatory for all Muslims, for example, to be awake in the most part of night, like the Holy Prophet and his, close companions of the Holy Prophet. Actually, it is very difficult, especially in this modern time, especially with these, heavy programs of the media and so on and so forth. I do not want to recommend that, but I want to say at least you should have some experience of this lifestyle of Holy Prophet and his, close companions of him. So, this is recommended. Again, another recommendation is to sleep, for example, half an hour approximately before the time of the noon prayer. We call it qaylula. Actually, this is recommended because you have been awake in the midnight for some minutes at least. You have been awake in the time of Sahar. You have been awake in the time of Bain al-Tulu'ain. You started very early morning, very fresh, very energetic, okay? And it is necessary to sleep some minutes, at least half an hour before the time of Salat az-Zuhr. It is again recommended. My dear brothers and sisters, these are Islamic planning for how to sleep, how to eat, how to talk, and how to behave with other people and other fellow human beings. I know the requirements of the society. I know the, unfortunately, I'm very unfortunate to say that these requirements of the modernity, they call it modernity. Anyway, I know many people that are busy and so on and so forth. They have a lot of work to do. But I want to recommend you, my dear brothers and sisters, these are some advices from traditions of the Holy Prophet, from the history of Islam, to mention and to give these advices. At least you can have a little bit of these experiences once or twice a year at least. But be sure that many people, they live by this standard, they live by this lifestyle, and they enjoy this kind of lifestyle. Inshallah, in upcoming session, we will talk and we will expand about this issue. We will talk about this amazing part of the Islamic lifestyle, how to talk, how to sit, how to eat, how to speak, etiquette of speaking, etiquette of sitting in the meeting, and so on and so forth. You find this recommendation very beautiful. I'm sure you will enjoy it. Inshallah, in upcoming sessions, we will talk about further issues in Islamic lifestyle. In the end, I would like to thank you, my dear brothers and sisters, for having this program, for having me. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.